Well, I gave it a 10, not by the Bucs, but by Brady's connection with Mike Evans, because through 16 weeks, we saw no indication that this was even possible. On passes of 20 air yards, he was 3 or 4 for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Coming into the week, he was only had one of those. And that was a 51-yard, if I'm not mistaken, against the Baltimore Ravens. So we saw no indication that something like this was possible because we had not seen it for the first 16 weeks of the season. And then they break out. They finally got 30 points. We have seen no indication of that being possible. They got 31 in a loss, but they lost 41-31. And Brady was on. He might have should have had better than that if K. Dotton knew the difference between man and zone. He got upset. 41, I forget his name. He was like, O'Keefe. He was like, where the F is Otten? And then Otten comes in. He's like, well, I should have kept O'Keefe in the ball game because Otten had a hard. I saw the play. I tweeted, bro, that's a man read. Brady's trying to lead you, and you just turn up and just keep running. And he pulls up. Brady misfires. Brady was extremely upset with that. He tried to hit him on another, and he didn't get his head around quick enough. So Brady could have had more yards than what he did. But what I liked about Tom and Mike Evans is that they saw an opportunity and they took advantage of the opportunity. And that opportunity was C.J. Henderson. Skip, there's a reason why this young man was the 9th pick in the draft. In 1 year and 3 games into his second season, he was traded for a tight end and a 3rd-round pick. Let that sink in for just a second. The 9th pick in the draft was traded for a tight end and I think a 2nd or 3rd-round pick the following season in which he was selected 9th overall. He was terrible. I don't know what he thought. Mike Evans got everybody with the same move. He lulled them to sleep like I ain't doing nothing. Takes off, throws his hand up. Tom Brady airs it out, touchdown. So that's not on Tampa Bay. It's like, man, y'all need to pay attention. This is a real game. Don't worry about play your technique, do what you're supposed to do. But Tom was sensational yesterday. 432 yards, 34 of 45. And so I don't really know what else to say. Chris Godwin was over 100 yards, but they played well yesterday. And even as well as they played, it still took, 3-4 turnovers in order for them to pull this out. So that's how challenged they are, Skip, to get separation from a team. As great as Brady played yesterday, it still took, 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, fumbles. I mean, and Sam Darnold, as great as he was playing, then all of a sudden the second half he started turning the ball over and let Tampa get right back in the game, and eventually they won the game. But Tom and Mike Evans, they deserve a 10 for what they did yesterday.
Okay, so the question was about surprise. So for me, the surprise factor was 15 on a scale of 1 to 10 because you picked Carolina to win, and I didn't have any issue with that because I told you I'm going to be surprised if the Bucs do win.
Right.
Because I couldn't see how they could because every factor on paper indicated that Carolina would win this game. Carolina won at Carolina 21-3. 21-3. And Carolina was one of the hotter teams in the league, having won 3 out of 4 and 4 out of 6. Carolina definitely had one of the hotter defenses in the league under a coach who still deserves to get this job because he is a defensive guru to me, and he has completely changed the way they play football. Yeah. And it looked like several times yesterday they were in complete command of this game, just the way a lot of people expected that they would be.
Right.
So the point was, here came in Tampa with the worst rushing attack in pro football, and did it get any better yesterday? It still is. It was just pathetic. It might have been more pathetic yesterday than it's ever been. And pass rush. They were graded 28th as a pass rush, which is 4 from the bottom.
Right.
Because they can't rush anybody without Shaq Barrett, and Vita Vea is still limpy, gimpy, coming back in, and they just don't have anybody until the end of the game. Anthony Nelson finally rose and shone and made one play. And Tryon Stoyanka makes a play here or there, but they can't rush the passer. So for the most part, Sam Darnold was just sitting back there with all day and all night to throw, and he was picking them apart, and he still threw for 341 yards. So the point was that in the end, I'm sitting over here as a Brady supporter. I'm ashamed by everything I said last week. I'm ashamed by everything I was tweeting early in the game because it looked like all hope was lost.
Right.
I'm ashamed because I keep saying he's the one man in sports I don't bet against.
Right.
Yet I didn't bet against him. I still picked them to win, but I picked them to win 14-13 because I couldn't imagine them scoring more than 14 points. And I tweeted when they fell behind 14-0 that the best hope they had was to tie it at 14 and go to overtime, because I could not imagine how they were going to score 14, because they can't protect Brady well enough at this stage and age to get him loose to score more than 14 points, because Brian Burns is serious business, and so is Derek Brown.
Right.
They can flat out rush the passer. And they got him 3 times, and they hit him 7 times. So they were getting after him.
It was the last one that got him upset. He started
got him really upset.
They shoved him down.
But it was that wasn't a penalty.
He wanted one.
Okay, he wanted one, but that was classic. You're begging for it, Brady. And by the way, he got so upset that he spiked the ball and got a delay of game late in the game. You cannot, excuse me, you cannot do that. Mm-hmm. But here's the biggest picture of what happened yesterday. On the first day of 23,
New Year,
Tom Brady went 23, as in Michael Jordan, on the Carolina Panthers in a win or else game, a win or basically go home game. I know that it still wouldn't have been completely over if they'd lost, but this was for all the marbles, as few a marbles as the NFC South has had. Maybe it's for one marble, but it's still for the one marble.
Right.
And he went Jordan again. And you can say, well, relative to all that he's accomplished, it was just Mickey Mouse Jordan. But it was still Jordan-esque, because he still has as clutch a killer will as we've ever seen in your sport. He still has the capability of just going nuclear when it has to be done. And he did it yesterday against all odds to me, because I didn't see it coming, and I'm usually the one who does see it coming.
Well, I think the thing is, you didn't see it coming because you saw no indication through the first 17 weeks that it was even possible.
You realize Mike Evans had gone 11 straight games. Think about this. 11 games in a row with 0 touchdown passes. We have talked and talked and talked it to death how, for reasons nobody can quite figure out, Tom Brady and Mike Evans have fallen completely apart. They've lost their wavelength. They've lost their chemistry. They've lost their rapport. I don't think they hate each other. I don't think anything's going on between them. They just lost connection for reasons I don't know. Brady said after the game, yeah, I missed him a bunch of times. And there were some times, such as the first throw at Carolina, when it hit Mike Evans right in the hands and he just butterfingered it. I don't know why. I can't figure it out, because Mike Evans is better than that and Tom Brady is better than that, but it had not worked. Yet clearly the whole idea yesterday was, screw it. Like, let's just forget about all that didn't happen. Let's make it happen today. I'm going to throw you a whole bunch of footballs, and let's just see if we can figure this back out on the fly, because you and I are the only hope we have to win this game. And that's the God's truth. That was it.
But what did we find out early in the week? That J.C. Horn had broken his wrist. He was going to be out. He's their guy. He's their shutdown guy that could possibly neutralize some of this. Because, Skip, it was the big play that got him right back in the ballgame. It was 14-0. And the next thing you know...
I have some respect for C.J. Henderson, because I watched him a lot at Florida. I got it. You know, he ran in the 4.3s. He is a superior athlete.
But Skip, you don't trade the 9th pick in the draft 1 year in 3 games.
I know, but he's actually played very well this year for that team, because he has not been a liability, and he is the one getting all the throws at him all year long, because J.C. Horn is a flat-out stud. And I will remind you, it was 50-50 even Steven, because Carlton Davis, shockingly to me, is the best corner by far on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, did not play. He's got some bum shoulder, and when I saw all week he was not practicing, I thought, uh-oh, this is big trouble. So don't tell me it's all about J.C. Horn, because the Bucs are down their best corner, and I look up and Antoine Winfield is covering the slot the whole day. What? Did you see 31s in the slot?
He's done that, because remember when Murphy Bunting was out? He had to be out, so you had to drop somebody down. But I think the thing is, Skip, no, I'm not saying that Carlton Davis is not valuable, but we had not seen any big plays out of the Bucs passing game all year long.
Okay.
And so that's the difference. I'm not saying that Davis is not important, because he is. But what have you seen from the Bucs passing game all year? Had you seen anything like what you saw yesterday?
No. And I kept waiting for Julio to emerge, and you warned me he's just never going to be healthy. So he did run a reverse yesterday, and it looked like he was running about 2 miles an hour because it was so wide open. It should have gone from 40, and he got whatever it was, 20-ish. Right. And he caught one ball all day because he just no factor. So it comes down to Mike Evans or bust, if you want to know the God's truth. But Chris Godwin had a nice day yesterday.
Chris Godwin is a chain mover.
He is.
He's not the guy, Skip. He's not the guy that's going to send you to the trauma unit. He'll paper cut you. Mike Evans is the guy that sends you to the trauma center because he's the guy that's going to get over the top of your head.
Okay. So obviously, Carolina takes the football right out of the box and goes 75 yards in 6 plays. And I sat back and said, uh-oh, this is going to be a long day.
Right.
This could be embarrassment day, because all of a sudden it's 7-0 with only 11:39 left in the first quarter. So here come the Buccaneers. And what happened? They get a hold right out of the box on, guess who? Donovan Smith is finally back at left tackle. He is the most penalized offensive lineman in all of football, and he gets an early hold that sets him back into 1st and 20 at the Bucs 32. Yeah. And what happens on this play, if we could see it? He goes deep, which was a pleasant surprise, to, guess who? Mike Evans. And I thought this was a pretty good throw, and Mike Evans just couldn't get his other hand up. I don't know. It looked like it hit him right in the breadbasket.
It did.
And I don't know if he couldn't get his left hand up quick enough on the football. But you know what I thought? Here we go again. Like, these guys just don't have any connection. And that's when I sat back and I said, you know what? This is just not going to work. No. Because now Brady has a tendency, once that happens, to go away from him. Right. But fortunately, he didn't go completely away from him. So here we go, and they get the ball back, and they're still going in that drive, and he finally hits Godwin on a big third down throw and gets 24, and they peanut punch and strip him. If we could see the play to Godwin, this was a good throw by Brady, and he gets loose, and he's going for 24 yards, and I think, okay, they're back in business, and then they're not in business. Mm-hmm. So it felt wrong, and then all of a sudden they come down, and before I know it, it's 14-0. So this is 7:51 left in the second quarter. And that's when I tweeted 14-0. Maybe they could tie them and go to overtime, but what would you see at that point that would show you the Bucs could score 30 points? Right. And by the way, they scored 30 points with it was a long field goal, but they missed a field goal, they got a short one blocked, and they missed an extra point. So there's 7 points left on the table, and they got to 30. How is that possible? Well, it's because the quarterback says, hey, this is it. This is what I do. This is who I am. I'm going to do this. And right out of the box on the next drive, it's 1st and 10 at their 37. And he throws his best ball of the year to Mike Evans. Yeah. And if we could see the ball, this ball travels almost 60 yards in the air. So
and the guy playing off coverage, I don't know what he was thinking. Yep. I don't know how you play off coverage and you get beat this deep.
That's the other corner. That's Keith Taylor, who's 6'5". And they got him on Mike Evans because he's 6'5".
But he can't run.
He's as tall as Mike Evans is, so they got him because all Mike Evans has been doing all year is playing possession, right? Yeah. Dink and dunk and little stop routes and little out routes.
Get him in the red zone and throw a jump ball.
Okay, that's what they do. And so Keith Taylor is 6'5". He's a 5th-round pick 2 years ago. And he's like, I got him. No, you don't got him because they haven't done this all year. And finally, Brady made a really good throw to a guy who used to be a really good receiver. And all of a sudden, I look up and I think, 14-7. Well, that's not bad. Okay, so then the Bucs get the ball at the end because Sam Darnold just didn't see the snap. I don't know. He wasn't looking, and the ball hits him in the chest, and he loses it.
But doesn't that happen to bad quarterbacks? That seems to never happen to a Brady or Mahomes or a Burrow. That doesn't happen to them.
My problem with Sam Darnold is he has ability, as he displayed often yesterday. Yeah. He will make big mistakes in big games. That was his resume at USC. That's why I did not love him coming out of the draft. He makes too many mistakes.
Skip, in a situation like that, the coach will always tell you, son, don't exacerbate a situation. Just follow
the football, and he
That's
did not
all
follow
you
the
got to do.
I agree.
And now all of a sudden, he's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
No.
He's going to be Josh Allen. He's going to pick the ball up.
I agree.
He's going to run around, and he's going to make something happen. The situation is already bad. Don't make it worse.
Okay, I got it. So they get the ball at the Carolina 13, and he flips it to Mike Evans and lets him sort of just, it's almost like a screen pass. So it's really just a quick pass to him, and he just bulls for like 7 yards. Then Fournette goes for a couple of yards, and all of a sudden on 3rd and 1, he tries to hit Kate Otten on a little quick out, and he's long because he's covered. He would just cover.
Right, you miss long. You don't want to turn it.
It's because you got pick sixable out there. But so it's 4th and 1 at the 4-yard line. You can still get a first down, and Todd Bowles decides to take the 22-yard field goal. Brady looked like he did not love it.
Right.
I didn't love it for Brady because I still thought they were going to have a hard time getting to even 14 points. And I thought this is a golden opportunity, and it showed me Todd Bowles is saying to the GOAT quarterback, no, I don't really trust you in this situation. And it was disturbing to me because I thought Brady might sort of go in the tank a little bit over it. Like he might just say, okay, if you don't trust me, then I don't trust us.
I do understand Todd Bowles' way of thinking, Skip. Points have been a premium. It's so hard for them to get points, Skip. Todd Bowles like, bro, I'm down here. I got to take whatever I can get. I got to get as much water as I can. You say they can't run the football. Yep. Do you trust them turning around and handing it off to Leonard Fournette or the other kid? I don't either.
No.
And so now
it was a little too long to sneak it because, as we saw later in the game, he is the greatest quarterback sneak runner ever. And you've made the point all year. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Well, this is for all the marble.
Right.
Maybe it's just one marble, but it's for the marble.
This is your division titles on the line. Although Jalen Hurts might say, that's my title now, Skip. I'm the best quarterback sneak guy.
Okay, I don't know. Brady is really, he's weirdly really good at 6'4". He gets so low, and he finds a tiny little space underneath his center, and he just powers it.
Well, Jalen Hurts is fine. Jalen Hurts and them, they do the rugby scrum.
They do it with
the rugby scrum, so they get everything.
These guys don't do the rugby scrum. They just let Brady do it by himself. The point is, they take the field goal, and it's 14-10, and I'm thinking, boy, this doesn't feel right to me. Now we get to open the second half. They do get the ball, and Todd Bowles said, well, I knew we at least were going to get the football, right?
We get some points, and we get the ball coming out of the half.
All right, so now we get the 2 plays in question that you brought up that drove Brady crazy in this situation because the first one's 2nd and 9 at the 37 right out of halftime, and he throws it to O'Keefe. And if we could see this, we got back-to-back tight end plays.
Are we going to be able to see Brady's lip? Can we read what Brady?
This is to O'Keefe, and he hits him right in the hands. I don't know. He wasn't even looking for the ball. You could say maybe he threw it too hard. I don't know. You just have to catch the ball because you have a step, and you might be able to get 8 yards. And Brady was not happy, and you could see he was saying something
lucky that didn't get picked because he threw it so hard they carry him, Skip. A lot of times, guys, balls like that get picked.
It went to nowhere, luckily. And then now we got the 3rd and 9 at the 37, and they're going to make this first down, as you tweeted, if Kate Otten doesn't just sit.
There's no one out there. There's no one out there for him to sit.
Here we go with the next play. It's the very next play to Kate Otten on 3rd and 9. Oh, I think we don't have that one. But anyway,
Brady
he just sat.
I know Brady lost it.
Okay. What's that?
He lost it.
Yeah, he lost his mind is what he lost.
Did.
Okay, so here we go again. And it almost looked like Sam Darnold had him on the deep throw to Sean Murphy Bunting, that he intercepted down near the goal line. Because if you get this ball up and you make this throw, I don't know if they can come back.
Right.
But he picked it off, and it gave them a little bit of a stay of execution down at the goal line because he's throwing it from the 45. He just didn't get the ball up.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. He hitches. You got to let this ball go. Look what he does. Why are you taking that 2 hitches? You got to take that ball in 5 steps and let it go.
He just didn't get it there, and it's just a reprieve is all it was because then they get their 26-yard field goal block. That was after going 90 yards in 15 plays, and that's why I said, okay, this isn't going to work today. And would you believe that Sam Darnold then goes 91 yards in 7 plays and made the throw of the game to Shi Smith, I thought was the 19-yard touchdown pass. It was really big-time good, and that made it 21-10. 21-10.
He threw a dart?
Yeah, he threw a dart. he put a little mustard on this, and he threw it kind of flat-footed.
And the one he threw to DJ Moore, Skip, to get up 14-0. Now he dropped that one in the bucket too. Now
good. No, it was good. I told you, 341. He made a bunch of good throws here, and he made a bunch of big mistakes.
Yes.
Okay, at 21-10 early in the fourth, I'm saying there's just no way.
Right.
Like I don't even know if the GOAT could even sniff this one. And what does he do? It's 4 plays after that throw by Sam Darnold. He hits Mike Evans again, who has actually inside leverage on this throw, so he leads him inside left a little bit, and this is the second touchdown pass.
Mike Evans sandbagged him, pretend like he's walking off the line of scrimmage and just takes off.
And by the way, this is 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6 at the 43. He sandbagged him because they're looking for some possession route.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Looking something quick.
Yep. And boom. He leads him inside and hits him right in stride. And all of a sudden I look up and it's 21-16 because they go for 2 and miss because they can't score in the red zone at all. Usually, Tom Brady was known before this year as the greatest red zone passer in the history of the game. But he had Gronk, and he had AB, and he had Edelman and Amendola, and he had all these players that he trusted to run the kind of routes that he likes to throw. I thought Mike Evans was trustable down there, but he can't seem to find Mike Evans in the red zone at all. Okay, so here we go again, and they hold Carolina for once and make them punt. And finally, what was I banging the table for over here all week? You got to go no huddle. So they finally go no huddle, and this is mid-4th quarter.
Yeah.
So you finally go no huddle, and they go 92 yards into 8 plays, and yet it was 1st and 10 at the 30. And this might be Brady's best throw of the day, best pure pass of the day is the 30-yarder. It's a pump and go, and he drops it like Santa right down the chimney. Really a good throw. And C.J. Henderson actually played this pretty well. He couldn't find the football, but you have to drop that one in perfectly, and he did. So now you're 3 for 3 in your last 3, Mike Evans.
If you go back and look, when he pumped Chris Godwin, I think, is running, he throws his hand up because he already knows that's C.J. Henderson and we got it. He didn't even looking. No. He just puts his hand up in there, one hand up in there, like, yeah, we got him. I don't know, C.J., bro. Hey, you might need to find a new line of work if you can't do any better than what you're doing.
My God. So all of a sudden, they're up 24-21, and then the aforementioned Anthony Nelson strip sacks Sam Darnold, and they get the ball back. And finally, Brady sneaks it over, and it's 30-21. It got a little crazy late because the kid from Georgia, the rookie punter, Jake Camarda, had to make a play on a low snap, and he made the play.
Yeah.
He scooped it. He ran left. Todd Bowles said he'd never seen a punter make that athletic of a play. I've seen punters run and kick it on the run before.
But Skip, if you think about it, he shortstops it the hop.
That's the best part of the play.
Yeah, because that ball could go anywhere. Now, all of a sudden, you got a different ball game. Because look how he Skip. He gets it, takes off. Now, he's running away from his dominant foot, Skip. He's a right-footed.
No, he ran and kicked it wrong. It wasn't wrong-footed. It was wrong way.
Wait, you expect him to be able to run right and kick it, but he's running left.
What I expected was somebody to block it, but nobody got their hand on it, and he kicked it all the way down to like the 4-yard line, but there was an illegal man downfield, which was fine with me because you get to re-kick it.
Re-kick it.
And he kicks it 42 yards, and basically that was that.
Right.
Okay, so in the end, the best thing the defense did, which did surprise me, was, as you know, Carolina over the last 6 games has averaged 187 yards rushing. So the best thing they did was they held them to 74 yards rushing. So at least that kept you afloat, kept you in the game.
Well, see, you needed to be able to run the ball to keep Brady, because once Brady gets into a rhythm, the thing you want to do is keep his butt on the sideline. Well, you couldn't run the football.
No.
And then if you got a couple of incompletions, he's going to be right back on the field. So now he tempos you. Because, like you said, they went hurry up, and so now he's in a rhythm. And that's the one thing you don't want a quarterback to do, is to get a rhythm, especially that quarterback. For all intents and purposes, the game was over.
Whew. And yet, the Buccaneers managed to score 30 points while running 25 times for a grand total of 67 yards. It's just pathetic. It's under 3 yards.
They're not going to run. They're not going to be
just can't run.
No. They're not going to be like the 72 Dolphins. They're not going to be like the Ravens when Lamar won the MVP and they ran for over 3,000 yards. That's not who this team is. If you're going to go anywhere in the playoffs, it's going to be on Brady's arm. Okay. It's not going to be on Fournette and
White's
leg. It's not going to be on White. Yeah.
The last time I did see the Bucs run the ball very successfully was, ironically and frighteningly, was on opening Sunday night at Jerry World, right? That's the last time I saw any semblance of a dominant running game that Brady has actually ridden. When they went to the Super Bowl, it was playoff Lenny because he was running like a wild man.
Right.
Okay.
But that's not what they are anymore.
No, it's not who they are. Whew.
Brady headed to the postseason, gentlemen, for the 14th consecutive season. Whew.
Wow.
All
Very
right.
impressive.
Speaking of impressive, we see you, Jair Alexander, holding Justin Jefferson to just one catch yesterday. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.